It's time to plant out the broad beans and climbing beans. But before I get started there, I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup in the small UK city garden. So you'll know as an update, just to keep a diary of what's going on. The potatoes are doing quite well here. You'll see these are the potatoes in the pots, 3 large pots. And then I've got this large bed, which I basically lifted the slabs on. So ideally, we're going to get zucchini, which I'm going to plant today as seed. And those will allow me to get plants which I can plant here. This gets the most full sun. I'm just moving the pots out of the way so I can clean below these pots and get that all clean and ready. So as we do this, it'll give you an idea of how the garden is coming along. So these extra plants which are left to seed, they've done their job, gave the bees some nice little bit of nectar, so some early flowers which bloom. And these were just kale and cabbage which are left to seed from last summer. And my broad beans and my climbing beans have got very big for their pots. So that's the goal now. I'm going to be planting those in the back here. And then using the three brothers rule, we're going to have the actual zucchini, sunflower and climbing beans and maybe broad beans in this one single bed. We'll see how that works, and over time you'll see it slowly grow, and we'll keep an eye on it. Normally the black fly tend to get broad beans, so I want to keep an eye on those, see how those work. But this is all compost, so this normal household compost over the years from our compost bin. And here is a plum tree cut off, so the plum tree got really big. I'm using that branch as a type of natural climbing option for the plants. So I'll push that into the center, and then I'll put plants around each side, because these get quite rowdy when they start growing and they fall over the place. So I'll be able to tie them onto this. And it's a good idea to do this in the starting, because then you've got something for the plants to hold on to as they grow up. And this is the climbing beans. So I'm putting broad beans and climbing beans together this time, just because they've got really big. I haven't got a plan this season. I'm just kind of planting out as things grow. So I have already put some seeds for zucchini in a pot, and those will be growing in tissue paper actually, just to grow them on. It's always interesting to see these grow. So the zucchini plants will slowly grow, and as time continues, you will slowly see those plants when I plant those out. So this bed is a mix of compost and normal household scraps, which over time have been composted down. And further away towards the back of the garden, if you keep an eye on my videos, you'll know which part of the garden this is. I've got the compost bin here in the corner, in front of which is a hydrangea plant which grows quite big to hide the compost. And then in front of that is a bed where I normally do the climbing plants. You'll see there's a bit of a frame system above this bed. I'm just cleaning this bed out because I think I scattered some poppy seeds last year and they seem to be prolific, so I'm getting rid of those seeds. And then I've got a few extra climbing plants that I like to put here, just to create a bit of canopy and a bit of shade in this spot, to allow lettuce and things like chard to grow underneath and not bolt when it gets sunny. So overall, this is a nice easy little task just to keep the garden going and planting some plants in. I've got another section behind here, because in this pots I put quite a few broad beans and climbing beans, and they did grow quite nicely. So I just wanted to plant them out so we've got somewhere for these to grow on, as leaving them in the pots too long, then they don't work too well. And you can see here's a nice easy job, just using the deep hole, planting in, and then sticking a couple of sticks in there just for it to have something to climb onto. And behind here I've got a couple of beds here where the chard has come back a number of times. And in the back bed I like to put broad beans because they're out of the way behind and they grow quite tall. There's already a bit of a mini structure there which can be used for it to climb up. So overall it's a nice little garden planting weekend, and I've just had some nice weather, so I thought I'll get these planted out. And hopefully in the next video I'll show you more about the zucchini, cucumbers and pumpkin once those go to seed. Check out some of the older videos and you'll see how the garden is going on. I'll see you in the next video.